Welcome back everyone, I'm Zell, and today we're looking at the Bestech BT1703. Alright guys, I've had this knife in the locker for a long time. Hank had it sent to me, that's Knife Collector 031 in the Netherlands, quite some time ago, and I never reviewed it because there are a couple of issues that we'll get into over time. Let's get a good look at the knife. We have a closed length of 4.86, a handle thickness of 0.52, and a closed height of 1.22, and an open overall length of 8.5 inches. So this is a big dog with a 3.66 inch blade and a 3.49 cutting edge with a blade stock thickness of 0.158 or 4 millimeters, and that grip length, and that's all the way to here guys, of 4.12. So now this is a big dog of folding knives as far as most of the measurements go except for blade length, and it's pretty freaking nice. I did forget to get the weight. We'll grab that real quick. Here's our jeweler's scale that apparently doesn't weigh in carats very well if you watch some of the previous videos. And we're at 4.68 ounces and 132.6 grams. So it's not a super heavyweight either, but it's not a lightweight. And overall, it's a very good design. Let's get a closer look at it. We've got kind of a stone washy look. I hope that's coming through on camera to the handles, and I actually like that. It gives you a bit of the green and gold, and it's freaking beautiful, really. And then we have this cutout here. Now this I'm not a huge fan of. It looks like some kind of Celtic design or something, and I really don't know what exactly it is, but they've got a piece of inlay that's in the blue behind it, and I've had this knife apart, and I forget exactly how those go in, but it's a nice touch, but it's nothing that really touches me. If it touches you, then that's awesome. Now, the screws the Bestech are using, and let's do our normal here. We have, get this thing around where you can see the lettering on the, there we go. Pretty good. They're not the best ones I've seen Bestech use, but they're still pretty good. Much above many of the other companies out there. As we roll around the back, we have a back spacer with jimping here and jimping here. We have a flipper tab with no jimping on it, and it's for a reason. It doesn't really need it. As we roll around the top side, we see that it's well centered. Got some jimping up through here, and on over to this side, we've got a nice big tip up right hand only pocket clip, oversized pivot, free spinning, and just very well done. We've got a lock bar insert with over travel stop, and I tend to forget to talk about that anymore because it seems to be a standard thing on knives. And other side, we've got a little bit of shaping here, and we've got the other side of our free spinning pivot. Now the free spinning pivots on the Bestech knives so far have not been a problem for me. I've been able to use some sort of tool, not a screwdriver. Don't stick a screwdriver in there unless you are positive that you're not going to strip it out. I have used the nail file on a from a small Swiss Army knife and some other things like that fall in there, and you can have a little better control, and they seem to be fine. The other knives, like this Dolphin, I've used a US nickel in them, and they seem to be just fine. So the free spinning pivot, though I don't like it, doesn't cause a problem. And let's get some size comparison done. And here we have our Halloween colors, even though this is probably going to go up way past Halloween. And our Rat Model 1 and our Delica, and we've got a Buck 110 around here somewhere that we'll throw in the mix. So it's right in there in that, you know, right around 3.5 inch blade length, you know, under 5 ounces, titanium frame lock flipper thing, which is a fairly beautiful place to be, because that's what is selling the most knives right now for sure. So, getting a look at the blade, we've got, and I'm not even sure what finish this is. It looks somewhat stonewashed, but let's just skip the finish. We've got a nice swedge up here. It's not as clean as you're going to see on some knives, but it's still very nice. We also have a nice grind. We have a bit of a steep belly right here. Not exactly a compound grind by any means, but a bit of a steep belly on our raise here. And on this one, they have brought the sharpening choil out in front of the plunge grind, which is always an awesome thing. And it's S35 VN. And, you know, and this one says first production 113 to 150, S35 VN, and has the old BTK logo. And Bestech knives, guys, I know that there's other connotations to the BTK thing, but that's why they changed their logo. And on their newer knives, they have this logo. Because they paid attention to what you had to say and did some changing. So overall, we've got a very, very nice looking knife. And it's going to hurt me in a few minutes to say the one negative, but there we go. Let's look at the pause and read card, and then I'll be right back with you. All right, so we're not going to do mechanics yet. We're going to do mechanical stuff yet. We're going to do ergonomics. And ergonomics, I'll lay it down there. You guys tell me, do I even need to put it in my hand? Probably not. But I will anyhow. There you go. It's nice. It's simple. Pocket clip doesn't get me. I can get it there. The jimping is light for me. Now, and you got to realize what my thumbs look like. Your thumbs probably and hopefully don't look like that. So the jimping for me is very light. It may be a little more aggressive for you, but doesn't matter how you get a hold of the knife. It does its job. Does its job extremely well. It would, well, I would carry this knife because, once again, simple ergonomics. Simple handle design equals good ergonomics. All right. We got that out of the way. Let's get our Levi's up here if I can find where I put them. There they are. And our Levi's are on the table, and there we go. This pocket clip is not the greatest, but it's definitely not bad. And we've got enough pocket clip and enough space that I have carried this knife in 511s. I think if I remember right, the little ramp wasn't quite accommodating enough to get it in the Carhartt work pants that I've got. And some, I wear them around the shop. They're just the old twill Carhartt work pants, and they are pretty thick at the pockets. Now, at some point, maybe we'll get a pair of those that's worn out in the knee or something, and throw them up on the table too. But overall, ergonomics and flipping action is just absolutely superb. In the pocket, it works out well. No jimping there on either side, so you're not eating up your phone. It's nice and chamfered on both sides, so it's just a beautiful thing. So the one thing that I've got to talk about that I really didn't want to have to, because I do like the knife, is this thing has some pivot rock. Now, I've had this knife apart a couple of times, and I have tried to find exactly where it's at. I can tell you it is not in the lock or the lock mechanism. The lock and lock mechanism locks up exactly the way it's supposed to. The pivot, or the rock, is most likely in a slightly oversized hole drilled here, or hole drilled in the blade, or a bit that went off just a little bit. And I don't know how many of you have actually watched holes being drilled, but depending on the drill you choose and its sharpness and a whole bunch of factors with the drill, you can end up with a hole with a round drill bit that isn't round. I know that doesn't make sense, but it happens. You can end up with a hole that's got kind of a hex shape to it. You can end up with a hole that's got strangely an area that looks kind of flat. And I'm guessing that's what's happened here. Now, I haven't really tried with Bestech to get anything done. I probably should. But being one of their very first knives, I didn't want to get too deep into the repair and replace stuff. But that is the one issue with the knife. Now, is it an issue that makes me nervous? Well, no, because lockup is fine. I have, like I said, I've been all over this thing. That lock bar is not moving. It's just a wee bit, and when I say a wee bit, I'm talking thousandths of movement in that pivot. So like I said, it's probably a misdrilled hole with a slightly dull bit, or a head on the mill got just slightly out. Lots of little things could have caused that. And I just wanted full transparency, let you guys know that that did happen on this knife. But overall, the BT1703, is it really a knife for me? Well, not really. It's a bit big and a bit heavy for what it is. But for those of you that like the styling, you like this link catcher that they put down here, which rather nicely styled link catcher. And there's another thing that they've done. They have your landing pad, your indexing point. They've done a great job with the knife. Just whenever you get one, knowing this was one of the first knives that they produced, and you should be doing this with any and every knife you get from whomever it is, be sure to go over the knife really good whenever you get it. That way, in the case of Bestech knives, you can deal with the retailer instead of having to deal with Bestech, because right now I don't believe that Bestech has a North American service rep. So you're going to have to deal with the folks over in China, and they speak good English, so that's not a big deal there, but you're still having to deal with back and forth between here and China, which can be a major issue. So if you order one of these, be sure to check it out real well as soon as you get it, so that you don't have this sort of problem. And overall, guys, looking at the other Bestech knives that I've had in here, I would not hesitate to get another one of these, because I'm assuming, and I'm pretty sure, that Bestech fixed whatever the problem was. And appreciate you guys hanging out with me, getting a look at the Bestech BT1703. It is a rather beautiful knife. I do like the finish here, this green gold looking stuff, and I really don't like green, but man, I like this. And you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.